there are quick issues you be addressing quickly if it does be Gordon no so etimi abama yetrance and minority no raise some important issue parliament na omo issue ni say you say obi e the Ghana ban akokot ema contingency fund no court e ne sa to so na sesika no emunen enano parliament say omaji atum say yenkoyi 350 million Ghana cedis na yenfa koboa flood victims enti minority no ebisa say omahu letter attorney general actually bo Bank of Ghana koko na letter omode bo koko na emu no oma sign so ma approve say yenyi ska wum na ebasa na eye Ghana ye constitution no ena yemu etiatia so ni kan say contingency fund no eye a creation of the constitution it is obi at the court na court at the nsato so a eza aban no ebo parliament amane bo Ghana fo nyina amane etenye flag yi na ba ya ankobia nteda say contingency fund no obi ednesa akwa akotuso na court ednesa edi atoso ebiem me personally there questions are me person me raise ni say ekwa ban ena ban efa so a ohun say flood victims no onya 350 million Ghana cedis a ebeso omo because eda asamni siye no say saada no sanare chie ena mampani mahama eka say wa allocate and wa instruct say yenyi 350 million Ghana cedis na yenfa ko support flood victims no. So the question is mampani ye den eno hu say 350 million Ghana cedis ebeso adechi ye no ena interior ministry so be kan say enipa 38,000 and I affected. And now no me question is say interior ministry no ye dey hu say asamasi ne ade achi ya pe no the figure beto abonten enipa 38,000 and omo ho aka adwam na ye gina 38,000 so na yakasa nti ya allocate and ya release 350 million Ghana cedis say e fan kwan koso masin oko various constituencies ni mo a any various districts any municipalities no ma any pani nyina say obia ma ha obia ne ye mekasai obia meka bibia nkyereye obia ma ha emeka yen eti on odd basis ana interior ministry eti minya sa number no say enipa omho aka no 38,000 omofa akwan ben so because won koye needs assessment won koye head count won koye bibia eti aban no abonisirem ana odi figure bi abeto abonten ana watu din ene watu sikadin besi ena me no kasai yehu se omodi bibia ko babia endura na meti se minority leader say yesi akoche big beans e dia ma obibinom na obi ate enkran ha obi te ebabi na sensu afa no a pacho big beans di ode yeden ensu ofa nipa big beans ode yeden big beans aduane enti minority no asem raise very important and these are crucial questions ayebisa. One, abani ye den needs assessment be no ye ana mampani mahama ochena helicopter nim efa asoro na no hu so enipa omho aka no minyata na 50 million na ebe so wo mo enti minority no demand say yemfa clear guidelines efa mrakwa ebe fa so a ye be chisika no because Ghana for minimum say nsu atoi eni nsu yiri abai eni 350 million years ye be chei o hia Ghana for 10 bia na biso mo a emu na ebe ka tro se NDC for ebe wiesika no because ma ye bi pen onipa wa ye bi pen no eni e fe na ye bi afo asam etu ND esu datu Ghana for a na NDC for nkwan wa ye de because on be fa ho wiesika asam atu Ghana for no na NDC for any age. And they can't even wait. Some by a proper needs assessment. no mahu nipa ho aka the type of help on behia any bibia and no one say hey your number be atodwa 38,000 hey you 350 million e dey atodwa ye kocha ne adi obi bisa say menyina so ne sen menyina so ne say Andaman Pani Mahama 1 eja ehye kantamanto ene agbogbosi ame ye kan say ejadifo ne ma hye ejadifo aboka enti aban enkobo mo besia kakra enye se edika no kocho mu yenkobo adwadifo a bojabodwa woji 500 woji 1000 woji 2000 na mo fansan ensha se biem se majapadie nyina hye ye de se sika ne koye no NDC ni ba besia aye friend Sedina Tamaklu ewia sika no one akabi ya chef Daniel Azim omu wia sika no omu ya NDC fo ene ye Joma Hama 1 ana omu wia sika no ana omu kwache na omu diye NPP ababa na NPP ababa hu say say na Tamaklo ni tiri modern oba akoko ni oba akronfo asama tu nuanom ma ewodwom say eja hye omaja pade na omu ho akire omu ne yasio fasika kakra koma omu no wokoye a wode ensi ho atwamenebo akosia no adwadifo no se da biye ntimi ntua osemo fasika na mreme na wasua mu filling station o wagisika na gun kam poa na wakwa kodi yede ne kodina koto a pabam na wadwane ene NDC fo ba yi ene mama na ba mama na ba nko jela omo din didadafie enti ya bai Ghana fo do na anim se wo je sesika di NDC fo a omo wi sesika no se de mu wi a se na Tamaklo die no obi anim enu ti na nkrofo ya mo hwehwe omo a omo raise question ebisa say relief items no ewo hefa sika no ehne ye de ko ede ne ye de beye hwan na mudi bia ma no big beans na mo chiche no mo cha ye den because omo ni ye say nia wa we kura pen no so bewe koto aye nyina chinye tigana fo ye mo hwehwe omo ti minority no demand for accountability na minim say Ghana fo nyina de ma no betumbi na ye nyina ye demand for accountability e de ama Ghana fo
memre da ne kwasiada ena mpanimfo to asi ho se omo ekoto aba President Mahama ne NDC fo me nipa bone for too much enye fe mo je se mo de politics mo de aye mframa amohome mo de aye nsu amonnom mo de aye duane amudie mo de aye bibia beba Ghana bia mo de be politics NPP enye nura enye na otwe etwemu enye na otwe mienu etwemu ena o mo share date say o meye constituency elections o ma share dada to ho na 2 weeks ago say enso yiri ye na president was o say anya general cleaning na enso ni yiri ye no following week no na how no gina mo no ye betuma ye general cleaning no mo amfa anhye ho enti mo aseda ade akohyeda NPP fo to o maba na mo nya kwan ka say NPP fo mpega na yie enti ye ka say ye general cleaning kra o maba President Mahama got no opposition edian ene ye Ghana okobi edu 6 match a onko ye ma state of the nation address a onko bibia e bebia no onfa no nhim ensu wei wahye da de akohye eda MPP fo to aba na se MPP fo enya kwan ankwa a o ma gina so de be ka se MPP fo mfe empega na sem
na me kra de eya na MPP fo no ho ne me bi ho na wei me nko na de ye ni ha ne ye Ghana card a
ese de ke tnya na so se NDC ni enko
fo ni bi enko
ho national exercise
me no onye eya MPP fo mo ho ne me bi so wei am no mo almost so nya o yi no mo yi
o mo nya
anti o de asheda na de nti onu nti wo wa bato abeto no bi jai but eja ben de wo party a o mo dwiri nipa ho na o mo ye yi a o se wa o betu yi a beti so o be ye bia ko anti enya hwe o be fa ne sa
anti na de bia meka se MPP fo suba no koye NDC fo suba boni no bia o ma we ka sekra sene aman a atwe ho ahia o mo kokon no ba san MPP fo no wo mo adwene wo man no hunti no se NDC fo di nsim hu na no mo so aye din na bibia ye kama ensu ayiri yen se na obusai 350 million Ghana cedis. Mo ya den na mo kodu sa sika na yebe hia. 38,000. Mo ya den na mo se nipa 38,000. Ana omokwa hia mo. What's the baked beans?
Yes, baked beans no moche.
Baked beans no moche no. Eya dis ni bi na akofa ba. Ebeton e na abo no so.
Okay.
NDC ni bi na akofa ebeton e na abo no so. Enti ene ye mfa nko chema wo mo.
Ye riskare beton.
Ni ntua ne ka.
Ghana fusika ne de beton NDC ni product na.
Ye ja to, ye ja ko. Na baked bean. Na me baked beans gra me ni da be dibi. Enti obi ensu ayira fa no.
Eye luxury. Enye aduane a because so tona crisis ba enuane a ye church say emo ebro gari no ene say aduane ene anwane ade eno ne aduane a ho chebiri mu no ye chema nipadi
by che beans
o say
beans ba ye beans
enye na make eye crisis mu aduane because nipa no bia ne neme wahwere ne yema nyina eti big beans no o de man say on fanzo ngumu na onuma na so
ne ma cha bob
Bob Kroba na big beans. Obi ensu ayira fa no. Ya kwache Bob amanda big beans ni omntimi chema wo. Wa hu.
Ha adwen o.
Sa sika 350 million Ghana cedis o ma twai. Omo so mo chama ni 38,000 no a. Obi abenya 9,210 cedis. 92 million.
Is what questions ne kwan se da sibrin.
Omo che
sika na wo so sika na yesi etwa. Ye koche amanipa no ana ye de koye drains ana
na se koto niema
ye de koto cement e de aye omodan no ye de kote gata nim enwura aba ne ye kote de kosesa ana ye koye ne den
eno an so me se ye twesika
eno an se ye fa plan bia ye se o ye twa 300 million ya sha se disburse eno an e be wi ase na je se ye de wase esrim
emu ba de e be ko from pa bo hwemu be 150 million 100 million be ka de o me choma de edi
mo ko chedi
na dis for de obi a Gambia for Ghana for akowu Gambia na Gambia ban dis kaba se ye nchema o mo no na o ma cheska na di na o mo de be na e form ho o mo de na o kan nipa kwa hunyehie mu a e ho eno mo fa ho enyiska nti da bia o mo mpa ye no se de ye obi ntimi enkyere engineer ekoso ewo man Ghana mu de nyame ni pani ni ha adwen se ye wa aban a omo ye insensitive to the plight of the people na omo govern no nwanwa to mo de omo ba ban mu a tie omo hia ne se omo party no benye sika na omo achema omo party ma eno ni omo de hia enye o man no ankasa ehu dadwen ne da omo so e ka oman no hu dadwen dia anka omo mfa ho because nyema ekoso nyina kire se aban we no wa ma se oba be ye bibia boa ma Ghana fo ye ho atoye anka oba ye en say ya say professors will say ehinfo aketu akwa na akoye manso a teacher fo aketu akoye manso a nurse fo aketu akoye manso obia de ye mfa ma no enso omo de omunya omo de ne de omunya edi ye de omo pe enye bi di enye bi edi bi tobi nom but Ghana ni mo bro wa na oye na dwuma no de bosume so a aban se mintua ne ka na yetimi sa oye ne penya kofa ba
wa kwaku ebi musi musa say sa clean up no mo ka so mbeye no o maka se ma ye political activity ana
o mo kan sa
and jade ne ye ha ye ho
ana me kan people before the help
ada bi se de be ye adwuma sabi pedua sa that na ye omuso mbeye no ubenya minister bia na ofase bi ware obekọ ana meboa no ofase ware obekọ akotena mutiyesu as a political party ye activity a moreover kwaku constituency nipa do se de to aba do me kwabenya kwa nipa do so pa
no ye 2,700
so
nipa to aba o nyina bru 200,000
omo ye 192,000
ye no ko ye voted total register
NPP for the year
we when nipa ti holo
2,700
e nipa ti holo mu ye baba be 400,000 what you say
into 2,000
let's say 5,000 ye ko aba is of no consequence ye adwuma na ebe just that Dr. Bamia true to form so we statement and then you don't also forget to say the late Elijah Liu Mahama one na cycling up exercise the time discipline what the buy
want to me radio 95.9
BBC ya o Dr. Bamia beko NPP ni we Ghana ni let's we so wo pepa no na wo ebress obeye bia na waye wantimi antensi abonten anko ya abonten di ni bi na wa ofichi na se obedo ho na be clock akra bia na waye na ekode be bi kwa comedy e se da anya se
enne na disciplinary committee edi omo report be kwa koma national executive committee on honorable Kenneth Japan
na me be so ayi no ebe nya mbecha na bi ma kwa menya kwa regidi ya
ne we hia
on se ensuo betwen se matuofo no etwo krata e ma aban
em se February mo so
me copy wa ha
o mo sa na me ka wa ha
nyame agbacha ye nto ya boase me busa questions nya do mo ka sa aban ye do mo nye se ni se de na aban ye
onye o twen
no but I was ye busa
o twen ma ya torrent ma ba ni wa ma wieska
victims na ba ko busa ma no pay say this can na mo ba be che no so mo be cheska wo so be den yo o mo cheska la kwa rent dan omu jiska current Diana and omu jiska sa tebe be so fa omo na next so sa ba ya sa mo jiska na and when the jiska dia man
so come just so fa
oh mamodi me se victim
so ya ni di o
kwam jesi no
yen ni di
and ye ka omu so mo victims pa kwam jesi de wadi amia
pa na
for almost 2 months in you
aba buka kana akora ko tupum enso amfa
etu onu no ye nchuo di hey jala ufo bi so wa ha obo mo jala fu ne bubu ashi ni ai jalink ana jala bubu sa kwasibu aha kwasibu na make kwasibu se ya iso na fo mu nyina gido mu nyina ye victims o ya nchuo mu di
na mo nchuo bi adin o
when koton chansen
when
koton table
omo arrive at Safiga no say
relevant question and now I said
this
assessment
ya no mo dey number
38,000 over
ti kwa ben of us nya numbers no
we say Saturday so we say Dennis is so far Dennis ai
eza
sin so far
o me na kasa me tin Saturday no news far and me wi na my friend no and now confirm me say o see fa baby otie no baby otie no so dey buy ma kodo kanu and no for the bear if you hold mo na wo kasa no and na Samson ka say interim minister say o ma aye baby a holding centers ya ko beta kwakota ho no mo except for some few days and say as obi ama obi aba was so pesca is there so betina ho no was so pesca and yes okay announcement wa hefa omo announcement wa hefa say holding centers a ewo kaneshi ewo hefa what dance man ewo pay ewo hefa unso bunka bibia so it is only in their minds and omo yes
na Samson so wezo
waku ye bewie no no man abokagu
ka de bobia
abokagu ama skala ko hwegu kofo oma ayi je say diversion kana stress kana ye twotoko kese pa era ko to kofo botum ena skala ni ehwegum oku afi ye nko nkomo no
all right nti me say enena ayi ni beba honorable Kenneth Japan report no
okay
and then I'm told say 7 different petitions and a betiano and there were other 11 petitions so from the diaspora so tiatia enye nkrofoni bi eka ne ho enti omo akotena se aka ne nyina but ne sources ni ntimi an confirm ya my say whether or not say on Kenneth Japan appear before the committee but whether say or appear no ene report no beba na empenefo ho recommendations a ewo nti eno eye ba ko ne tosumi nu ene say ochinachi na party no ekoye election na say about 20 out of the 276 no na enko to aba
about
because of various reasons baby wo ho a omo an no de yi aba so ebre no aye yi kakra nti mo break kakra na omo fa enye solve internal issues be wo so a issues on national any year to omo na issues ni ade so about 20 out of the 276 so far got on more assessment it's saying
that's very quick
there we na me can say party no ya de omo internal elections there e be tunya mo be 85%. If the free flag bearer the so ekoto ye bibia nyame tumi nti eye din ye boko na ye call polling station eno so nyame adom eye boko electoral area eno so ye boko yi yenim se constituency so ebe ye boko edi aboa no obubu ba na yehu onye pia enye hu biu ye betu na ka krepsi atu aba na ye but ebe no beso ebe kwa akoto aba no be se bibia ebe ye din na ye besre eye efiasem eye party ene ye position nye dia som party no enye adwuma na ye di bremo se moma ye adwuma na bosumi nso ne ntua moka de mo pre na obi enu abosumi nso betua neka party ne betua neka eye tu ho ache adwuma entimi kosom party ni so odi atwen kakra next 4 years na abesoma ti ase party ni se anka wo ubesoma nke be pene so na mo ma we mo nsuma ti ase e nu nyina no party adwuma wo ba adekura ba ye no wo be ya ma party na be di nkunim awini 2028 asuma si ba eno anso no no so obeye enti sa na sese yenya na ye di hye ye tirimu se ye nyina ye obotae ba akuntia ye kopre se ye kope positions no se be kwa akoye adwuma de aboa ama party no enso so aba power de obese woni ye koto aba no nso ne se sika
na ayi se ayi Mrs. Apia dan kwa se YouTube ne YouTube ne
ma go don check it sika hia but mumia hwe nipa no competence se nipa mieni omugina hoyi hwan na dwuma no ye ma no kwan so onya obetumi ayede aboa ye because butai binti ne ye sa anyema no power na ye pen 2028 ni ti enti se tena ho ama obi di sika ebe hyew na odi tumi no ma no na ebedu bra ye hia no so obeye adwuma ne de aboa party no ye nya no a mo di party ni nyina hwemo mo ha party ni kese pa enti yesremo yati ABC mu dada nyes kawe ya omde bebre ye abato mi na betimi asolve ye problems amayen ne mo mi anwini party no enipa no a oba no say asuma si die baby opase yedi no kosei wote adwuma na se obetimi aye adwuma no owoto ho ache o party no do yedi mana oni ehwamo na montu aba no masaafo no se de be ya ebenya solid team a ebeboa because they say yenya police station yenya electoral area ye senya constituency executives a almost ye kama party ni problem biu abase ye ko 2028 ya ye wo gidie ni ahotoso se adwuma ne betumi aye ni adi nkunim ayi alaji gurisa katire ake se what studio hoto papas wi yo ma ma ati jubilee house to papas wi oh ayo de kakra bi na se NPP for ye na nyame adma 2028 didi nkunim ti ye besere wo mo nso enhwe ni ye maye eno de ehia ye mpa
all right me election say koso igodom ade ba ko a aye concern ama mesisi a any camp campaign na omoye no I think say mpedefo ehwe saade ni because now near abane say obehu no afedia aye public first no na ka ye no faase first no dia o bia da se be call for say many dey nitini ye wase kakra ba si ade aye open
ye ho flyer yin
aye ho flyer ti ya obi a te team enti team we the chairman ni secretary ni organizer ni we ni aye team no ni ye de ato ni ye de ye campaign na we ni so ate omo de the same constituency we ni mu botia we na we ni so botia we num
too bad
we be ka say nya hwe because e nyama mi ne beba one set of leaders one set of camp e wini a obesadlane o maka se ko ba se ebi wini wo ha na ebi wini wo ha so a omo be ka mo ma ye adwuma no na ayedin ebe wi ase no ebe di party ni nya bebre enti yesro mo sa suban we die me die me fo se enye suban papa we die ba bia dunu bia na ye too late yanka ho asem temba next time no simply for the modalities biba no mudi sia no because fe die say aye you go that's me constituency ba ko no ya tete camp we camp near be we camp especially Kramatino on the lines of bepe parliamentary primaries no nti da se bepe MP ni city mu nie godon so bepe MP ni team nie dawru na ye incumbent MP ono so ni team nie na ye boy no mu na akwa so emo platforms no so a atemdidie ene nkwase asem ni nsemhunu na moya sa nyina wi a how do you work together
too bad we die
paku na Ubekasi unese party back on a CNC, it's no, and Messiwin and many bit in a year, Juma. The moment Ubekasi will be between win a year, Juan could not put the problem let's start here. First, the now Okano. What we say? We would do money women at Ebo. A harding. And it's also a crop when I'm womb. I saw a couple of Yamisomo in a Bible deal. Ye kwa yia utimu se we free no we free no mo attack aba ku no mo na other group is attack aba ku no mo so ko asori ye wedding na sa ene ye die nipo de nke hardin na mo say afede publicly we bet like I say me ye constituency me pe chairman edi na chairman na me pese media no me team eniye na wahye team no ebi nipa enson no wasese vice baako organizer baako secretary communication officer we electoral affairs we research I think say a dangerous trend that eba yenhwe niye ese de lokan elia no ebia aye too late say ye best of punk of because na me admechine no moto abano but going forward the penny for no mon kasanga say mwa party no because they say no ukuta list ebo a 7 we ukuta won so list ebo on so 7 ukuta ye beto aba ne be wie no na bi akwa 5-2 wonya 5 we muso anya 2 afi 2 na be shemu no omu enkomodie kura mpo no mistrust ewom enkomodie no mistrust ewom eti se 5 no gye no mudi nkoma 2 no ba na o asesa nkoma no omu ba no motu atene afi 2 no na a decision bia 5 no be take no say eyema party no say eyema party no na 2 no be oppose say 2 no so e de suggestion bia so ba say eyema party no say eyema party no 5 no so hu say ai omo nka mo ho enti no first omo nyintum mo nka mo ho say party ye baako what I say party ne baako enti a dangerous precedent honestly member who be baako bi a fly baako bi say omunyi na omabotai red ase atade fita emari nyina abotai yo baako bi so de no munyi na ase yellow omusi de golden yellow ase say omunyi na ase ebi so de blue and I say this say it may look interesting but I think say ase no emwa party no it go kuye hwe ne anya yi and now no paying me try say me verify na metimi e di amampanifo aya waso weso go no so me nya ne tie say yesi intimi nto aba no na acting chairman e di krata aba chama buti e di krata aba say edipa bi a petition intina ma aya waso weso go no so yentimi ento aba no me verify say e authentic
obi o ma send am me na me no senior party ni kan na no me I think say baby e beto baby we a controversy baby ano e better say e be suspend
no
resolve the issues
ebi mu say ebi say
almost me no say confusion we na ebi work
okay
because people don't get it say e buti e na atro sa letter no they are expecting the letter to come from general secretary.
Oh, there be
sent one say if general secretary.
Oh, you be to be true.
Almost say letter ne any authentic. But they should know say letter no authentic, and it's a legitimate say. Baby a controversy baby no in your own interest because nipa are sending message you know I say nipa 12 will be and now almost so who say and I'm saying baby a issues so who be and see a suspending no resolve issue
and the perfect team for victory 20 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11
and you know
obi say enra Felix Kwachufusu interview no say nadmu eno makaso manya assessment no na nadmu for aya assessment no nti nadmu for assessment no eno mo ejina so da fa no mkoye nadmu yeti hei ena ye yankrofo ya nsu afa omi obi ahun nadmu ni bia woni area enti nadmu no wo mo tena mo dem na ya assessment anase omo director no general no eti helicopter no ma bia na
dabi
nti o kwa best no mfa so mo ya assessment
I don't know
Endra committee no Mampeni Mahama share security council nti Mampeni Mahama de ya say ai nso atona ohwe kra no a all the coastal areas of West Africa kra so nso to mani kunkum nipa Ghana na Mampeni Mahama Endra
otisanse nhuna ko kana Ivory Coast de
ye no kra ye de no kra na
ka na best Mahama is where the power power
na me papa yi
ye de na wo fom
ye de na wo fom Endra okay he said it
okay say covid ba ya no kwana ewiase nyina eye table meboa ewiase ye table say
ye fe de kan ye to so
de ni pa wu kese o mo infection rate de kwaso kese ya na tembe na Ghana de ne ye wo fom pa no still na o mo se ye de o mo ntia say president Kufu Ado atena ho ama covid da be wura o ma Ghana asifu say obetimasi war
na covid nudu ado ahete
asifu so betama soldier for ko gina border no so akoto covid ni tu ene wo de wo compare say ade wo form no wonder say nipa wu ye wo koto showers of blessings
only this can save
thank you service ya ma se vita okay what
nti
nyame adoma wo se da be ene na ene be bad report
ne we ene and no more report ne beko
I don't think say you major bia say e bad the BC bia no na
bububa na ehu
de be bia na empede
and no more report ne beko na ya hwe ne a committee no e be recommend say mo fa enye adwumanti no eno ho ba elections no enso e wo ho say amanfo enhwe na asomdwe enye den emra various constituencies no nyina obia unipa ebi be wi ne ebi be lusu
asunyani istifo asa adum ho agim
almost saying
almost
court
court
amu de so mu nche we so ma hwe ya national ban so mu ntubi
asunyani istifo mu ha adwi o bizimanya order of interlocutory injunction na dead da hol bebre
omo hwe asa ban mu
asunyani istifo yin well ene da asunyani is for the middle
omo share NDC for omo nyomo sa na intedu internal election ano mo ho odin omo share ndi omo city na omo je an NDC for je sa hono enya hono mo MP ni kabro fofo no
so necessary is here enya bi o
enya hono mo MP ni kabro fofo no
ono aba no
eti sunyani is MPP muni NDC fo hia mo nyamo mafia no mo ya gidin bone dodo da bia ye internal election a mo be ha adwen saa ye dumo NDC fo ko hia na NDC fo adwum seat na sunyani de NDC wi ni san na ma soma obey you know at parliament kan enkwase abro fo di guma ni mo ase wa bere ani papa wa MPP mo a mo betimi akosum sunyani fo edu internal election a mo be ha adwen saa minu abi wo ho ye fe no ayi Maso Mahama wo betro sam saa e fe na bi kura na e ma ho mete etimi de du ba bi no o send me kura me nkan de asam ma betro sam we betro sam saa ade na modie ade na modie mo wo nipa am betimi asom party asum sunyan fo yi na internal issue ntawantawantia na makoto city na twene na sunyan de NDC we ni sunyan sese
kwaku aremu
sunyan NDC we ni sunyan sese amunya sa enya fe
eyi na ye kan
wo to na make kabi nchiro mo asa
amunya sa but yanko Cape Coast
ajobre
Cape Coast South Cape Coast South bi nipa mienu di message for say asma ye kan no sa na akoso Cape Coast South de bia ye team ni
amu wi anu makoto city na twene
team e win city na wo ye sa na wo wi se pa na go for say ene
mo nyam ya hwe
say Cape Coast South no 2020 me ko ho ekoye adwuma akra ho nem sabe na MC ne fe no bibi ata na on the general ho na Barbara enso ejina Cape Coast North in fact ekoye adwuma akra Cape Coast North ne ekoye adwuma akra Cape Coast South na sesa ntawanta wa yia na wo party ni mu a etimi yeto abawi omulusu ye no anya me wonwa anye me won akura
wa kusunya ne sen ye koye ABC symposium economic symposium ho I think say ko be August 2024 that was the only place I call regional minister by ye call Sunyane Technical University ye call ye no regional minister by MC by yes a regional organizer by few former executives by kwaku program na say starting an apart 10 ye started na ekobo 1 o'clock
party manoma party manama
there be by the time I ye free Sunyane no na ma hu se Sunyane seat no ekọ ye be kan ho asem eti e besrebo Sunyanefo empanimfo wo Sunyane papa
MPP woni betimi Sunyanefo yi
yesremo empanimfo wo holmu fa mo nansi fo
eti mo amu TV achi na mo MP obai ekeka kwase aborofo sa agumanimu ase a eya amanije
yesremo emfata Sunyane se NDC for and the members of parliament. It was say Sunyane penifo pa na mo ba na si wo MP
na wanchi
yes na wanchi
na na eyi abuzi a wanchi NDC for and aji wanchi seat
yes
and because of internal wrangling
yes
na do mi kwa benya na oma ya na yakoto seat na atwene na NDC for akwakofa anamne ade enti mumma party no mo party no ankrofo bre ya no mumma party no ho hia mo
dabi mesremo mo hwema bibia mo hwema bibia enye kama listen wo hefa
ne wo hia
be 29 so mo nto aba no
on fa list ni ba minim for sure say achimodan ento minim for sure say achim so adru ento
okay
minim for sure say amasaman ento
okay
minim for sure say ayewa so central ento meaning for sure say obomu do me abra meaning so mo so ento meaning say ene ayawa so west wogon so aba ka ho any some other constituencies into so constituency mo nto a send a message e your Facebook 0542 Facebook na me boy oko Facebook o movement TV on Facebook okwa obetimi e de wayi no ato na yahwe
constituency Yami ado memenda ni bema extensive coverage.
Okay, memenda no.
Memenda bema extensive coverage. Is biru ba tulu kosiada.
Saturday and Sunday.
Enti mo am betu no memenda. Mo betima say the message say yami ado memenda mo na mo to mo de na at least etime de ni so ahwe ho no na bibia.
Enti 8 AM to 4 PM. Na bato na wi. Na party ni say omunko bodwa. Omunko kind speeches and kind report and kind hwe. Yenko to yi ma obetu wi a ye gina ho ma enase abobodi ansa okra ID card Ghana card and also voters ID card okwa sani ye to general election obekonomo to na wakwa akoto to wi na okọ ofi opeso otena ho so abetimi atena ho atena chira at a distance na wash be from 8 to 4 PM
8 to 4 PM
4 PM no so I can kind of
ase ko fo yenuane pa
sa mo de be party ana
omu ko di no ho
okay
we are not the bank
we no de enya
NPP na wo ho no enye obi adia ye nyina ye dia ye nyina equal stake ewum kwaku baby minu constituency bi Greater Accra almost mo ye ya ma obi interest ntem ko fa NDC ni bi she e Greater Accra
enye NDC ni keko NDC ni a no to about 2 constituencies
that be for so e dey so ka ho
okay
we so ka ho in fact
or a delegate with 2 constituencies
adey eti no
MPP mu e won kan ha sei
eti mo kwa na betu yusu
MPP mu e won kan
mesre esa na on say local election bia ye local no baby ye nyina tete de edim ye ho kakra eti se me se me pese betu me koye bibi na bi di wo abo no se mo yi mi di free abo mu akwaku me de ya ba kwotena fi sa na be ya na we de ya ukọ na aka mo nko a na kwakwaye ma me hwe kwaku eno am ka ti bi se ye okuro wo ho enye kese na emomo no ye wo ban hwini bia da bia ti bi body gigi yani da bia na koti afo ena mo de hwini no esi ho anwumre ne ya tese mo bo mo de gimani e ba fifi ka kebara ma san atwe kwara mo de gimani ana afofo de ye nka ho ana eti one day man afofo no bi so ebo bia na ayedey anye saa one day obi be hu se ya fa hwini ne firi koti a edi obi di awia o de kwa na afo atwam akọ ana afofo no hu se pa on be yi omani Obe you money. Etimo ala mum ye kwano emo bi adi mbrem. Hard you and yet tidy. It's not that. I'm yam say you for was one to aba. Asante Achim Central. Asante Achim North. No, north for no, a column of one. Wash almost kwa most on top of some horn. Yes, I am a TV besides a cost. Okay.
I see. From polling station to national, former appointees at all levels are Omoye party members. So you're former board member, so you're former DCU, so you're former minister, so you're former director general, so you're former CEO. Yeah. Once our year card bearing member of NPP, no, man in trouble in all elections. Because the last time me say, me propose and I say, yema all former officers of the party from polling station to national. And all former government appointees at all levels. Yemo Montwaba in all elections.
Yeah, that's NPP ni.
Oh, NPP ni. Ni hiyan se nipa ni ye. So former council of state, former board chairman and a board member, former CU, former minister, former DC, former director general, and I say the appointment being in your
presidential
ambassador, presidential staffer. Why ni hiyan say or ye NPP ni no ye of good standing. Any former executive from polling station to electoral area to constituency, region, national, diaspora, yemo bia MMDC, amoto, yemo Montwaba in all elections. Almost the last amendment on ye no expansion on ye unim say cover both cover parliamentary ni presidential pay.
Anka party the mu opposition sa abre na mo kapa otutu mo niam yi pa vize opposition tena ya wa tumi say enema fa wani so o ti abotisem o tumi say adwuma nkrofo ntumi nye enso ma gya kantan so ntumi nya kwan ya wo beba enti sabre no na senka party ni kam ti pam ho no mo shisho mo niam kama the last time we were ha I said ma me ba ha Sunday said abeyo na ma wa na ma bia ba na Sunday yeah working days ni bia me gina ni mo no aba o peso be kana asem bi kire yi nam so ene wontumi nko asem fo no o mu nyamba anu ase da bi ene wontumi nko asem mu na mepɛ mo woni god ni dawuru na mepɛ mo
na se yenye wontumi nko asem
ena am se asem be ya okọ election yu bi okọ am se o se jama electoral area communication officer nyame ya na dum obi an contest no on post edinko yemfa no abon no ba yu ye na yekohwe mu a wonu a wokọ onu post ni
dini say the dinsu has been
dini enti the dinsu ya no onu post o enti chese wo huru de wonye ase wo ahafo area ho ba bi o ana ni ntu ofik ahafo abankran a wo so call party office say wan koto mpanimfo de no ode beto ya nim na mka je say ne won san call party office na won san call anko trekrata ankoma ni constituency no fa bi nkoma regional fo no se say na ato no ana me gene number na mdim de man say awon frɛ me o maintain nka say bi onyame adom o ma so wama no mo ya sa no a ha dwen eni pa ono ko ono post a obi an contest no wa wie no mo ko yini di na ato atwene na wa obi akofa de opɛ e de na be show say communication officer oba hwem no eni pa no adwuma no ontumi meye anso adwene ba akon wa kiri ni say me be kwakope constituency chairman ana regional chairman ana MP enti me penipo obeto abana mame anu ni ye ne
that's a bre
bra
politics die ya na ubia we interest in fact the politics kura mpo
bibia mu
adwuma mu a ubia akọ
asori cross interest
asori ubia with the interest
football mu nyina wo
football mu ubia with the interest na interest
no the players bi but na players bi titi ho no
yes interest to the bia ya na eye parochial interest ono ankoa ne de opɛ enu ntino se obe sacrifice larger group no kwampo ama ono ni interest na bamu a ɛhɔ no wɔpɛ and I think say kwaku hɔ no ya ne ma ne yehu ne say enam say wo pɛ constituency chairman wo pɛ constituency secretary that you pɛ so be member of parliament ntino na wo sacrifice the interest of the party ama wo waba be ye constituency chairman and na secretary and communication officer now be communication officer constituency wo ye be member of parliament na we opposition member now then we gain what sacrifice abra obetimi aba abeye member of parliament e was a party no mu without sacrificing the interest of the party one sacrifice interest of the party na party the interest no yekese a wo ba be member of parliament of a governing party
na ho ato
wo ba be constituency chairman of a governing party in fact constituency chairman for who and the regional chairman kwaku bebrea na ye bra de wa ba mu no mu odu pa
ye say ne ma ye mobo
omuka na dibum and then yeah President Mahama and am say wo cool mentality no omu free cool mu and e ba ye no omo the tribunal kangaroo court sayaba and NPP for say 87 no parliament ye besu ye be kam ye be ye dey just say yi parliament nkonya ko pagu abonten a o metwa fam na dey ya gini e dey yenya eti mesrew wo interest say o pesa obeye officer of the party obi so interest o pesa obeye officer of the party na mumenya mu interest ni say party no esa ho eje akono ne ba power eti dey say wo ye penny parliament support ka won sempa ye kwoto aba o matimi ato aba no ama unwini a party no edi nkunim
o you obedient free mu
na mo se da you obedient free mu a I just anya de a me meti ase na wuti ebinom se de kwa ye fa so yi omudi free mu a
bufu a
ya na obusa wo se enti mo amo ye saa no mo pe party ni ye die
bufu
mo amo yi nkofo di free mu no mo pe party ni ye se party ni mra aban mu ana so pe ni ye aka nko yo bi di free because nipa ko na wo yi ni di free mu no nyame adoma ekina adoa na mbekọ no mo be hia wo ho nyame adoma ekina adoa na mbekọ mo be hia wo ho nyame adoma ekina ball na mo ko ball no community football ayi na mo ko ball no mo be hia wo ho
bes na hin free
mo man de ko school mo amako school mo bebre kwa mo ye middle school living certificate school ayi for affair dey say schoolmate When we were school 1987, when we were school 2005, when we so when you mammy, when we bush of one now we the free moi. How do you tell the parents say a dear child of pa young Korean campaign? Mummy,
ya pa says I obisi sunyan west and this sunyan is in your campon
then
camp on the
sunyan west
sama for
many general secretary akasa or say ayawa so west so gone ama steering committee enim
okay
into ono as general secretary onim hore into you say ma sende sakrata na mano ampay
okay
anko ohuye into you say bisa acting national chairman say e ono na actual sakrata no ana say krata no fake
fachem on say ye kasi bia so bia we interest we me interesting because me ho na me to aba me constituency no
and
what many interest we do ba we ni man
see the issue is that maybe say people not send the message in my no man misa because okre na issue wo chairmanship no ho e baaye no mo say buti e na asan krata de aba and grofo na grofo kra accuse buti say onipa na wa clear no oye kana Japan nipa na buti so e kana Japan nipa enti na wa clear no enti actually me find out no na a steering committee decision na mo anya chairman buti personal decision enti me hu aya wa so die na me kan enti na ma me kan say e no credit because chairman buti so capacity to sign sankrata na bi but me ni general secretary kasa sisi ano wa kan chairman say
committee decision
steering committee and discuss aya wa so west were gone issue no
okay
steering committee and take decision on our so west were gone na nim and say until say me send the sakrata ya mani na uhu krata biasa that was the that is the communication many general secretary nya
eti omoma uniformity hia se be ya wajwaju bi ema abato na ye to no so be the petition ba na say party take decision petition ho a why the sign say general secretary me charge obi general secretary so wa say general secretary kwa na sign a ono kwa ensign ba wo baye no obi foforo so akwa sign abo ho asa regional chairman bi so akwa sign na akwa ya de foforo yesre me ni chairman but at me wa tese mon number me frɛ no abusa say chairman but be srew ene ma ekos aja waso weso go krata no eti say because for me many aye was go for bebre akasa before no kwese ze get it bebre akasa almost mu nyina ye ready say beto aba until say we ni buy ntino mo enhye da ntimi verify ente me try no many baako panimu baako headquarters was say it is not in their records ene ya mencha di general secretary so I confirm ntino mesre I was mempese bedrum se memena na kwesi ada
obefa card so koto aba
afena kwesi ntino e penifo ne enko se ombeko headquarters isi a ombeko se krata e de bayi ni pacho e more dedicated mayem se beto abana but per the general secretary kan isi di abano abato no ebeba so kwaku ya
mehu so omode injunction akoto new job enough election no smart mehu injunction me afijase oyoko ayi asokori jumapo empaye msusan eho nyina eye new job enough okay ma mehwe we so new job enough na abasufa and sigoro they should expect say enani ochina we be kwa je junction dey atoto election bebiri so party for no ehu say party no eho ehia party no hu hia oro na obeye party executive na party ni elusu a paso be na woso
so wonim DKM
minimum
yes DKM Daniel Kwaku Mensa wo contest as regional organizer wa Ashanti Media enrechi yes so also is into furnaces small scale mining enrechi yes ne excavators a any man inside club no nkofo bi ka ho am yakohye miensa sese na enrun adwono Kwaku de na metie for so species say enkofo bi kra NPP mu ka ho ene yes ade ya wudie da mu ni pedi no mamu nyesa
excavator
baako ne boarding say enipa baako ya say be producer na DKM no wa enema bebreba na wa ya ma party dia da nya say party no so ka ho a benefit be one way or the other na mutimi ehye nkofo kutupa say mon kwese na excavator na what do you gain e de be kra so no Debbie.
New job in South say likely to be kwa Junction and Nasocha and some other areas. Maybe I see a more to take na say be am ko Junction last minute party didn't mean ya hohwe ayo more
I know who hu hia kwaya dia party metu na hu bibi na ya solve problem no
there be say on person election e be ba so Saturday enti okoje ne ntamo a party ni betimi akokot akoye yinti no o twen ene anasa ochina no akoje
wakum za party no ewo baby say what the party the kokot yitimi etwe waso
say wo ye wo internal mechanism
what am mechanism
why exhausting nyina
me be busa say ye to aba we wi a I think say it was a party na asati be member committee bi emusa party before say how did we handle our elections especially petitions na eba no na ye gene say e can say because baby omo court case eba no ye hwe ni ye say omo pass omo exhaust all internal mechanisms na ebi mo ho mo de ba ye mfi
so to o mama ha
Pentecost eyi ho no
Pentecost University womo say na ekoso e de region e de ba national omo de adini kra kwa no matter atwatwe ni baby enti samoye ni saade a the last resort ne so be court na kwaje injunction dia abeto
oh no se nipa no de eba na ma emu anu no court a wontimi nka se wa enzo se
ya na make can say
wontimi nka ne sa
the court cases na doso ye wi a ye penfontina se no mu nhwem se constituencies are court cases eba ye no eba ne say na timi end up e court omo go through na response no to say as a core region eba national how did they respond to side maybe answer na dey could do you know so that we can correct ourselves going forward you know.
Nationwide post-flood cleanup exercise announced by President Mahama. Just last night, the president, speaking at a National Security Council meeting, said the government is doing everything possible to reduce the impact of flooding. He stressed that while floods can be managed, they can never be completely eliminated because they are natural disasters. In the aftermath of the recent floods, government also set up a post-flood mitigation task force to coordinate relief efforts and address the concerns of affected communities. So, from 6 a.m. tomorrow, ministries, departments, agencies, and metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies will step out across communities to the silt drains and clear choked gutters. Well, government says the exercise is a critical step toward reducing the risk of future flooding. Critics, however, argue that taking thousands of public sector workers away from their desks for a day comes at a significant economic cost. So is this a necessary sacrifice or an expensive distraction? And beyond clearing drains, what long-term measures should the government be implementing to reduce the financial toll of floods, especially on businesses and insurance companies that bear the cost of mountain claims? We will explore those shortly, but first, joining me on Zoom right now is the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, to tell us about preparations going on so far ahead of tomorrow's exercise. Minister, grateful for your time this afternoon. As we all are aware, government is mobilizing the entire public sector for tomorrow's cleanup exercise. What specific outcomes are expected by the end of this exercise?
Thank you so much. First of all, greetings to our cherished listeners and viewers this afternoon. Tomorrow's exercise marks the beginning of a renewed sanitation agenda for Greater Accra. And like stated earlier, we have spent all the policy and digital to undertake extensive disinfection of their drains, choke gutters, and spaces, and make sure that unauthorized by fencing, overgrown public space are also taken care of. And more importantly, in fact, our aim is to make sure that we restore public confidence that government is taking decisive action to improve sanitation and reduce flood in the Greater Accra region.
And what is the arrangement for MMDAs in the region tomorrow?
Yes, in fact, we had a meeting with all the stakeholders involved. We were able to meet some traditional rulers, NADMO. We met environmental protection officers. We also met all the coordinating directors. I mean, to have a roadmap. Yesterday, all the rec members went for a rec. We went all the have a part of some of the logistics that was there at the various and so we did that today. And so as I'm speaking to you now, all logistics are ready in place at the various all the 29 days away tomorrow's exercise. And so I can assure you that all the NDCs are fully prepared. We have an itinerary for all the districts. So anybody, any institutions that want to join with their phone numbers, we are going to share on Facebook and other platforms, and so that any NGO or any institutions that want to join can take the number and follow. All that we are advising is that if you live in Medina, make sure that you join the Medina main assembly to do the exercise. Don't travel from, because regular movement will also be controlled tomorrow. And so preparations are underway. In fact, the only challenge we're facing is the dumping site. And not as that the government has properly managed to secure a designated transfer station across the region that will receive all waste collected. And I can assure you that we wouldn't have problems, but Ashwater is ready, Tech is ready, Fanta is ready, Akiama is also ready, Malam and College as well.
Already, critics say this is a one-off intervention that does little to solve Accra's perennial flooding problem. How do you respond to that?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Critics are already saying that this is a one-off intervention that would do little to solve the perennial flooding we keep experiencing in Accra. How do you respond to that?
Yes, I would say that, yes, I know flooding has affected our communities for many years. However, this exercise is not an isolated event. It forms part of a broader strategy initiated by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana to restore environmental sanitation and improve our urban resilience.
Minister, critics say that this will not solve any problem. This is a much ado about nothing intervention.
It will solve because, trust me, initially we were relying on only the NDC, to take charge of their environment. Forgetting that when we talk of sanitation, it involves a lot of, a shared responsibility. It's not for one person. And so tomorrow's exercise, that is what I'm saying, that it's a renewed, it's a renewed sanitation agenda. And this is going to open a lot of people who now have an idea of how to keep our environment. Because tomorrow's exercise, everybody, all hands are on deck. We are going to make sure that they participate. And Ministry of Local Government is also going to put measures in place. And not only the sanitation aspect, but also there is a demolition aspect that goes with whatever we are doing. You know, the Hydro has brought out with a video of all the districts. And some of the buildings have been earmarked for demolition. And so we are hoping that the sanitation aspect also forms part of it. After the sanitation, we also go to the demolition aspect. So at the end of this exercise, trust me, we are going to reduce flooding in Greater Accra.
Let's look at the security arrangement for tomorrow, because as we are expecting, it's going to be a massive exercise that's going to happen tomorrow. How are security arrangements being put in place?
Yes, as I'm speaking to you now, like I said, the right side meeting was held. And so all securities from the various districts, in fact, tomorrow, we are expecting more than 500 policemen, on duty. And so all of them will be placed at some vantage places to make sure that tomorrow's exercise is successful. And they're also going to be part of the clinic, not only going to make sure that they monitor the security aspect alone, but they are also part of the training. In fact, the most good news is that even doctors have also pledged, nurses have also pledged, to deploy some of their staff to also make sure that they participate. And so, like you said, tomorrow's exercise is going to be massive. And CDC-wise, everything is said. IGP has made also some interventions to make sure that all the police from the various districts are positioned at some vantage to make sure that tomorrow's exercise will be successful. So everything is on course.
You did mention that there's going to be the deployment of 500 police officers. Is it across the region? Where are they going to be placed? Because others will argue that that is woefully inadequate if it is just 500 police officers who are going to offer protection.
That from the regional command. That is from the regional command. Yes. Yes. And the district, in addition, are also supported. So this is from the regional command. The 500 is from regional command. Well, this is a nationwide exercise. And so we should know that we also have district police at offices at all the districts, all the country. And so I believe that they've all made provisions to make sure that they deploy their staff to participate in this process.
And are there going to be provision of anything like water, food, anything for the people who will be participating?
Oh, yes, water, yes. But food, I would advise that we all take some breakfast before coming. But the assemblies, in fact, we have some caterers who have called that they will be coming with some breakfast. And so let's hope that we have enough, to feed. Because if we have, that strength, we can be able to work more. So water, yes, the assemblies, they've made provision for it. And the food, as for the food aspect, there will be breakfast, yes. They will serve breakfast. So everybody, and so also, this drinking company, they made this Coke and Sprite and whatever. They've also pledged to come with some drinks, to support the exercise. So we are hoping that we'll get enough to eat again tomorrow.
Will the president be taking part in this exercise tomorrow?
Sorry?
Will the president be taking part in this exercise tomorrow?
Oh, yes. His Excellency the President and the Vice will be taking part. But as to where they'll be visiting, we cannot make it known because we want to take some of the assembly by surprise. The President will visit them and know what they've done so far. And so we wouldn't put where they'll be yet. They'll be touring. I mean, yeah. We want to take some of the assembly by surprise. So the President will be visiting, the Vice will also be visiting. All the MPs, CEOs, trustee, everybody is on board.
And where will you be?
I will be at AMA. I'll be visiting AMA, Ayawaso, Okankwe North, Ayawaso West, Sema West, and Fantana Adina.
Minister, I want us to stay a bit on the security aspect because it's very important. The safety of all those who will be participating is very important to us and yourself, I want to believe as well. You mentioned that the regional police command is going to release some 500 police officers to provide safety. You've also said that the various district police officers will be released to patrol their areas. Do we have specific numbers as in every district, every municipality, every metropolitan area? These are the number of police officers that will be providing safety. Do we know?
With the numbers, I believe there will be a press conference from the Ministry of Interior. He will come out with the numbers from every district. So I don't have the figures as I'm speaking to you now.
Okay.
I'm speaking from the perspective of the region, directly from my regional command. Is what I'm saying. So with this, the Interior Minister will come out with it.
Let's talk about dumping sites because after these cleanup exercises are done, they have to be disposed of to somewhere. And there are already concerns that there are not enough dumping sites in the Greater Accra region. Are there arrangements for dumping sites to be made readily available so that they are disposed of quickly?
Yes, I told you that the government has ensured after this exercise, waste generated from this exercise will be properly managed. And for that matter, we were able to meet some service providers, which they've given us Archwater waste site. It's ready, operational 24 hours. Testing is also ready to receive us tomorrow. Pantan is also ready to receive. Ashiaman is also ready to receive. Malam is also ready to receive. And Kolebu as well.
So is this the final destination of where the refuse will go, or this is a transfer site, the names that you've mentioned?
Those are transfer sites.
Okay.
Those are transfer sites.
So ultimately, where will it go to, the final destination?
Adepa, the final destination is Adepa transfer.
And is it enough to accommodate all the waste that we'll be clearing from?
Oh yes, it's enough. I mean, you can visit, let some of your media people go there and have a look of the place. That place is big enough to receive everything tomorrow. So we even have a resort duty officers there at some speaking.
And do we know the number of trucks that will be released across Greater Accra region for a start and the other regions that will be participating in so that it ensures the smooth arrangement and transfer of these wastes?
Yes, the number of trucks, in fact, RedCheck are working on that. And so, like I told you earlier, we did a recce to know the numbers, but some of the places need addition. And so, I don't know, but tomorrow, I believe some of your media guys and ladies will be there to have figures of the logistics deployed at the various districts. So we can get that for you hopefully tomorrow morning.
And what role are Zoom Lion and other waste collectors going to play in this?
Please come again.
what role are Zoom Lion and other waste collectors going to play in this?
They are cleaning. They are part of the cleaning and also ensuring that the waste generated are properly disposed. So they are part of us. Yes.
That means government is collaborating with them?
My dear, this I cannot, I beg you. You know, this exercise is for everybody. And so they are on board. So whether they are also participating. And so that where you are coming from there, I don't have an answer for you for now.
Okay, let's look at the time period, because already there are concerns that this will disrupt economic activity in the capital and across the regions this is going to take place. From what time to what time are you expecting this exercise?
Yes, it depends. We are starting at 5 a.m. We want to start as early as 5 a.m. So at least by 12:01 we should be done. At least by 12, depending on the number of people available. And so if you are able to start early, trust me, we can even by some of them by each 10, 11 or 12, we should be done.
So I take that to mean that...
Target. And so we want to target. So that is why we want to start early, at least by 1 o'clock, we should be.
Okay, so you say you are starting at 5 a.m. and should be done by 1 o'clock. But there's a possibility that within those time frame that you've provided, work would not have been done when the time elapses. So does that mean that it's a bit flexible, the time? It can go beyond 1, or it's strictly at 1?
Oh, we can go beyond, depending on the yes, that is all. They want to ensure that target is met. And so, if we are able to meet our target between 5 to 12, why not? If we should go beyond 12 o'clock, yes, we'll do that. But don't forget that the exercise is 2 days exercise. If you are not also able, if you can continue the follow, I hope the Saturday we should be done.
The expectation of this exercise is the participation of all public sector workers. Is there any mechanism to monitor whether this will happen, whether all public sector workers are going to take part in this exercise, and how is it going to be done really?
We've put in place a monitoring team. And so I have with me the list here, and they are team leaders. And so that is what we've done so far as a region. So every district, for instance, when we pick Ladade-Kotopong, we have Lejekuku, Konwo, Tema West, Tema Metro. We have a team leader from out the represent, which is Madam Maima, accompanied by the MP as well. So we have the MP, the NPP, and then the team leader, who is Madam Maima. And then we also have their contact. And so these are some of the team, and the CEOs, what have you, they all have their team leaders, but they are collaborating with us. So that's why we should have a contact person from us. You see that have all the associated with this thing so that they will move accordingly, make sure that everybody will participate in this.
And what happens if people flout that?
Sanctions will be applied, that one there.
Okay.
Sanctions will be applied. This is a directive from His Excellency, and I believe we should all comply with it.
You did mention a while ago that the final destination of all this waste will be at Adepa. Is it the expectation that even the waste from places like Boom, Dowenya, Tema, and faraway places are all going to end up at Adepa, or they are segmented?
They will take other places, but that hasn't been confirmed yet.
Okay.
So Adepa has been confirmed. Hopefully tomorrow, the additional side that has been confirmed, we will let the public know. But as I'm speaking, like I stated earlier, Adepa is ready, to receive as many as possible. So we are good to go.
What about emergency situations? Have you factored that into consideration? Because likely anything can happen. Ambulances, medical officers, are they on standby? How is that going to work?
Yes, ambulance services and all the medical has been briefed. And so we are going to deploy all the ambulances at the various districts. Even fire extinguishers, fire service, they are also bringing their equipment.
Okay.
And so every assembly has an ambulance. Every assembly has an ambulance.
Okay.
And so they are going to deploy all to make sure that the exercise become one of the most effective.
Okay. We know that this is a 2-day exercise. You've largely spoken about what we are to expect tomorrow. Let's look at Saturday. What do we expect?
By Saturday, we should be making sure that we've already even met our target. We have a target to meet. And so Saturday, at least, we should make sure that we meet our target. What are some of the targets that we are saying? We want to make sure that we defilk all the drains, we clear all the choked waterways, remove unauthorized dumping sites, and make sure that overgrown public spaces are also taken care of. And so at the end of the day, like I said, we should restore public confidence that the government is taking a decisive action to improve sanitation and reduce flood rates in this area. Hopefully by Saturday, we should be able to meet our target.
Do I get the impression that there's likely to be demolitions tomorrow and Saturday?
Definitely, yes. Definitely. Well, don't forget, we also have the military on standby. In fact, the demolition even started about a week ago. When His Excellency gave a directive. And so the military, together with some of the various assemblies, are handling that. And so they are also taking care of some of the demolitions. We are focusing on the sanitation. So yes, there are demolitions that will be going on tomorrow.
And that begs the question that many are asking, to what end? Because if you do this tomorrow, if you do this on Saturday, waste is always going to be produced any day, any time. Does it end there? Does it end on Saturday?
It wouldn't, because sustainability is our priority. We have directed all MNDCs to institutionalize within the system regular sanitation inspections and strict enforcement of sanitation and mental cycles, illegal dams, waste of waterways, and indiscriminate disposal of waste will not tolerate. And don't forget, like I said, with the demolition exercise, we are going to concentrate on it now have a program because I have very tasked with the list of all the places that need by people need to be demolished. And so we have those houses that need to be demolished. And we make sure that by the close or not even this exercise just for sanitation, by continue. I mean, it doesn't mean that after these 2 days we are going to relax. Every day is a sanitation day for all the MMDC. And so they are very much aware, which we are monitoring them. We have a platform that we daily monitor their activities. And so after these 2 days, I mean, sanitation continues. I mean, the exercise continues. Demolition continues. And so we meet our target. And those buildings that have been earmarked, trust me, will make sure that all those buildings are put down and so that we reduce flood in the region. So all the buildings that have been earmarked by Hydro, at the end of the day, in fact, they've also given themselves a target. And so by the end of their target, we should be able to make sure that after the demolition, we reduce flood in the region. And so it's not going to be a 1 day, neither 2 days. It's something that will continue until we meet our target.
Let's look at Saturday, because we know that Saturday is specifically for the general public to participate. Is it compulsory? Who is to ensure that people participate? Whose responsibility is it going to be? Is it going to be the MMDAs? What is it going to be like?
The environmental health officers have been deployed at the various assemblies. All of them have been deployed. And so they will make sure that everybody participates in this festival. And like we said, if you fail to participate, they are sanctioned. And so I believe in fact, people have been calling, hey, can we go to work? I said, no. Make sure you finish the exercise before you can. So you can see the enthusiasm in which people want to participate in this. So everybody will comply and make sure that you all participate in all the exercise. Make sure that it becomes successful.
Let's look at the cost then, because all this involves money. How much is it going to cost us to embark on this 2-day exercise?
If I should tell you there's a cost, I'm lying, because the reason why I say I'm lying, we don't have any budget. As I'm speaking, there hasn't been any budget because some of the road contractors voluntarily has given us their equipment. They've given us the equipment to help with tomorrow's exercise. Zoom Lion voluntarily has also provided some logistics. As I'm speaking to, when you come to RCC, some NGOs, companies have also brought some logistics to support tomorrow's exercise. Perhaps the assemblies are going to, in terms of buying water, and don't forget we also have drip machines at the various assemblies. And so the little fuel they have to provide, yes, why not? They'll provide the fuel, but we haven't, as a region, have a holistic budget for tomorrow's exercise. It's low. There hasn't been. All that we plan now is voluntary. People are on board and they want, police support and tomorrow's exercise. So there hasn't been any budget at our
But Minister, the region cannot solely depend on the benevolence of individuals and companies. Surely you must have put certain amounts in place to say that, okay, we're putting this there for the ambulance services that you mentioned, the police, the services of the police, the tracts that you said you are going to get at the regional coordinating council. You, Minister, will be going around, and also you will be damping it at its final destination at Adepa. So if you are relying on the benevolence of groups and individuals, that's understandable. But to say that you have no cost, that is a bit difficult to understand, Minister.
Yes, in fact, when it comes to RCC, financially we are not able to support. You should know the budget that comes to RCC. And the various assemblies, yes, if they are going to have a budget, like I said, it's not a budget that will be too much. Providing, you see, there should be a limit of the budget, the expenditure they are going to spend tomorrow. Don't forget that there's even a direct form. It's not some big money out to take. This is a disaster, but so, such a disaster, we should spend that amount because we want. Like I said,
Minister, I'm losing you. If you, I don't know if you can get the phone closer to your mouth or kindly reposition yourself so that we can have a fruitful conversation.
Yes, I'm saying that financially, RCC, we are not financially stable to support this exercise. And when it comes to the assembly, don't forget they also have a directive as to the usage of their funds. All assemblies, they have directives as to the usage. And so even if they want to provide water to the people, as I'm speaking to you now, logistics has already been made available for all the 29 assemblies. And so that one for sure, as I'm speaking to you now, we have all the logistics sitting at the various assemblies awaiting tomorrow's exercise. yes, they may perhaps spend some incur from them, yes. But it's not going to be too much. It's something that would be something that they should within their limits, so that when an auditor comes to them, they should be able, to explain. But like I said, this is a disaster. It's a disaster. And so why should we incur such a huge amount of money before we can? So voluntarily, people have come on board to make sure that this exercise becomes a success. And like I said, most contractors have deployed all their equipment. Some NGO institutions that produce liquid soap, cutlasses, poles, what have you, shovels, they've also brought up their support. Local Minister of Local Government has also support. And those of who forget that their contingent fund that is excellent spoke about, there's also going to be a small portion of it that will also support, some dispersing, to make sure that exercise becomes a fact. But I don't have the contingent fund is not with my money. That's under NAGMO, so I cannot take that. But I believe they also bring out something later to support.
So do I then get the impression that the persons that are going to foot the bills that will come outside of the donations you've received are going to be the districts? Is that it?
Please come again.
You have mentioned that the Regional Coordinating Council is cash trapped. You don't have any money to spend on this. And you mentioned that the districts are going to be heavily involved in this. So I'm asking if the extra cash or the extra bill that will arise outside the benevolence of the individuals and companies who have offered to help, is that bill going to be footed by the district assemblies?
When we get to the bridge, we'll cross. When we get to it, but we should also not forget that the assemblies, they also have part of their money at sanitation. This 1% or so. 10%, yes. 10% for sanitation. And so they also bring out that amount to support the exercise.
Okay, Minister, you said that when we get to the bridge, we'll cross, but we are barely 24 hours to get into the bridge, and yet we don't know how we're going to cross. Isn't that concerning, some will say? There
are priorities to make sure that the logistics needed are available. And as I'm speaking to you now, I stated earlier that we have all the logistics, all the equipment needed are ready sitting at the various assemblies.
Okay.
And so we are ready for tomorrow's exercise. We don't know whether we are going to incur additional debt. Who knows? And so when it comes, the assembly, they have 10% sanitation, support from their funds. And so they can use it to support whatever it is. We are ever ready to.
And can you quantify in monetary terms the amount of the support that all these companies coming on board are going to provide in monetary terms? Do you know?
I'm not sure. We are speaking. We've asked anybody to support cash. That support, you see, people are supporting with equipment, no cash. We are not interested in taking cash from people. Our interest is to make sure that we get the needed logistics, and that is where our focus is. We don't even want to take cash from any other person. If you want to support with cash, the exercise is ongoing at all the 29 days. If you want to support with water, if you have cash, use it to buy water or drinks to come and support. Or use it to buy logistics and come and support. We want to avoid situations where people will say we are supporting with cash. If you have any cash support, visit the presidency. That is where they can receive cash. But the various assemblies, our focus is to make sure that we get the needed logistics, which we have. So additional logistics, why not? They are accepted. If they should come, if anybody wants to support in cash, they can go to finance and do that. So
where is finance? Hello, Minister.
Yes.
Where is finance, please?
Minister for Finance is there. Local government is there. Ministry of Interior is there. NADMO is also there. So they can go there with their cash donation. But our we are not going to accept any cash. Our focus to make sure that the needed logistics that we need, why not? If they have logistics they bring, we will take it. As I'm speaking, like I said, other institutions brought liquid soap, they brought shovels and other things, which we've asked the assemblies to come for it. And so that is what we can account for. Please, I don't want any cash to come to me. So people say they're giving the minister this and that. Any cash should be directed to NADMO, Ministry of Interior, Finance, or the President.
So now that the minister has made us aware that this exercise is being done largely on the benevolence of companies and individuals who are supporting, what if the support is not enough? What happens on the day?
My dear, government has made enough provision
for
this exercise. And I told you, out of the contingency fund, there's a portion of amount that has also been allocated to make sure that this exercise is successful. And this funds, I'm not, it's not within my mandate to mention. But it's coming from Ministry of Interior. And so they can speak to that. But as far as I'm concerned, our preparedness is my priority, and that is what matters. We are fully ready and prepared. The institutions are just supporting because, this is a shared responsibility. And so they are just supporting. We are not solely lying on benevolence. No. The government has made provisions to make sure that this exercise is successful. And that is what I'm saying. This is a disaster, a natural disaster. And we don't want to incur any additional debt. All companies are on deck. They've made provisions. Government has also made their provisions to make sure that this exercise is successful. So like I stated earlier, our mandate is to make sure that this exercise becomes one of the most successful cleanup exercise in the region. And together, let us all come to reclaim our communities, protect our environment, and build a cleaner, healthier, and safer Greater Accra. A cleaner Greater Accra begins with you. Let's all come to participate and make sure that this exercise becomes one of the most successful cleanup exercises. So thank you so much, my dear. Please, I beg you, I have other engagements. As I'm speaking to you now, we need to visit some districts and make sure that they get their logistics for tomorrow's cleanup exercise.
That's fine, Minister. We are so grateful that you could make time out of your busy schedule to speak to us.
Thank you so much.
Linda Oklu is the Greater Accra Regional Minister there. Also raises another question. What really is the economic value of the working hours that will be sacrificed? And beyond affected households, what policies should the government introduce to cushion businesses, particularly insurance companies that shoulder huge payouts after disasters like these? Joining me right now is Professor of Finance at Andrews University, Kwesi Pepra. Also joining the conversation is MP for Ebuakwa South, Dr. Kingsley Agyeman, who is an insurance expert. Gentlemen, grateful for your time this afternoon. Dr. Agyeman, I want to begin with you. Individuals and businesses have already suffered significant losses, but insurance companies are also under pressure as claims continue to rise. How is the industry coping at this very depressing time?
Thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to all your cherished viewers. My sincerest condolence to all the bereaved families and those who lost properties in one way or the other. If you ask whether the insurance company, how we are coping, I would say that it's a very troubling time. Nobody will want to pay claims. We are estimating claims currently at around almost 500 million Ghana cedis, $500 million cedi. That is going to balloon every insurance company's claims record. So it's a very turbulent time in the insurance industry. However, because the industry has been able to build resilience over time, that is prudent underwriting that has taken place in the industry, very rigorous regulation and supervision that comes from the regulator. I would say that the industry, even though it is challenged by this balloon debt, has a very good resilience to be able to support all those that got covered by the flood.
And would you say that the recent flooding has exposed weaknesses in Ghana's insurance penetration and disaster risk financing?
We didn't need a flood to even expose this, because we are doing currently insurance penetration is about 1%. That's against the African rate that is on average of 3%. Globally, the insurance penetration is about 6% of GDPs. However, it's less than approximately 1% of GDP. So we didn't need a flood to expose these weaknesses. What this tells us is that people are not patronizing insurance, which is a very key, important, or a very key aspect of our well-being. Whether we like it or not, insurance is the only mitigating factor of vehicle that impacts on outcomes of disasters. There has not been anything in this world that has been able to provide this solution, not even prayers. Because let me ask you, the discussion goes beyond where you are, whether you have flood-prone areas or whatever. You could be living in a very high area. By the time of the flood, your car could be caught up in a flood zone. What happens to you? You lose property. You lose your car and other belongings. So I would say that penetration has been a challenge over the years, and doing less than 1% as against the African average of 3%, we didn't need this flood to expose that weakness.
I'm wondering what immediate intervention you think the government should consider to ease the burden on insurance companies.
So there are two-pronged approach. You realize that when the government proposed to impose tax, as VAT, on non-motor insurances, we came out strongly to encourage government to do it. Because where you have a low penetration, you don't impose VAT. At the moment you impose VAT, you are preventing people from participating in a risk portfolio that is already lacking low penetration. So the imposition of the 20% VAT on non-motor basically means that people are shown away from the insurance product, like the non-motor insurance product. So the immediate request, or the most prudent thing to do, is to ask them that, please, this imposition is taking people away from participating in insurance. So there must be a waiver or a suspension of the VAT on the insurance product. And having done that, that will increase consumption of insurance services. Beyond that, because the insurance industry, insurance companies have been exposed in terms of the flood claims, what it means that their bottom line is going to be impacted. Bottom line means that there's going to be low profitability. Low profitability means that we can also ask the government, or we may appeal to the government that you should have a waiver in terms of corporate tax for insurance companies. Because when these insurance companies go out of business, the impact on the economy will be very good. Employment will be affected, the risk or disasters will be exposed very, very high, and the penetration or insurance penetration that we want to go up, want to soar up, will be drastically reduced. So these are the two interventions: a suspension on the VAT on the non-motor insurance policies, and a waiver, some form of a waiver or an austerity measure to insurance companies so that they can bounce back.
Dr. Kingsley Agyeman, glad you could join me this afternoon.
All other political activities must be suspended. Everybody must be on board. All markets and shops must be closed. And this one, the CDS is on board. And the IGP is on board. And the Controller General for Immigration is on board. So if you go and open your shop, you will be on fire. This is not just the normal thing that we've been doing. If a president speaks and you want to take it for granted, the law will deal with you. He is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. All shops will be closed, all markets will be closed. And the market, when the flood came, it entered most of the market. So if we don't close them and sweep and clear all the debris and disinfect most of the places, they will be selling all those things for us to eat, and there will be outbreak of diseases and those things.
That's the local government minister there. Already his comments have generated mixed reactions among traders. While some traders say they support the initiative because cleaner communities benefit everyone, others fear closing their businesses, even for a few hours, will affect their daily income.
Fair. It's unfair. It's not good. So please, we are all involving to clean the country, especially local markets. Me, it's here I make my money. If I get to see the price here. So me, I support to clean all the country.
If President Mahama wants us to close our shops and support the cleanup exercise, we have no problem with that. We support this initiative because the sanitation situation affects our health and we all contribute to the problem. If government is helping us clean the city, we must support it.
So what do we have? Baba next time I am your friend's announcement and ansana bibisa bantia dana say in Napo ready every month every month.
We only appeal to government to announce such exercises early enough so traders can prepare and comply.
It's
We've also been hearing from President John Mahama, who says the government is making every effort to minimize the impact of flooding across the country, stressing that while floods can be managed, they cannot be completely eliminated because they are natural disasters.
Of the floods that affected a lot of the southern coastal part of our country, I deemed it necessary for us to have a national security meeting to discuss the issues arising out of that natural disaster. It's become a recurring incident. But of course, this was far worse than any that we have seen, both because of the vagaries of climate change. It looks like increasingly every year the rainfall is getting heavier, and it means that we have to see what mitigation measures to put in place. And so, aside from that, too, the pressures of urbanization. Accra being the capital, it is expanding at a very alarming rate, and the desire for land to build is increasingly making people encroach into areas that were formerly reserved for the passage of water and the containment of water. And so of course, we've asked the Army to get involved in the flood mitigation measures, and then also NADMO and others are involved in relief, spreading of relief items. And so we want to look at what's been happening so far and what the measures we have to put in place going forward would be. Of course, we set up a task force before the incident occurred. They did some limited work in terms of dredging some of the waterways, but I mean, the amount of rainfall that fell this time, it was very difficult to contain. Happily, the Minister of Finance has released some money from the contingency fund for us to be able to finance the mitigation measures going forward. We might not be able to completely eliminate flooding because It's a natural disaster that happens not only in our part of the world, it happens in other areas, but we can minimize it and make its effect less disastrous like what happened. In this particular case, all countries from Gabon to Cote d'Ivoire reported flooding and some loss of lives, some much higher than us. And like we Christians say, in everything we give thanks. And we hope that we should be able to work so that we ameliorate the difficulty that people are suffering.
President John Mahama there. And while we fight floods, we know that sound infrastructure drives economic growth, public services, and national competitiveness. Yet aging assets, poor maintenance, and climate threats continue to strain critical systems. Ahead of the launch of the Ghana Infrastructure Report Card 2026, the Pulse speaks with the Ghana Institution of Engineering on why independent infrastructure assessments are vital for smarter investments, better policies, and sustainable development. And joining me in the studio this afternoon is Dr. Charles Asafo-Adjei. He is a member of the GHIE's Public Accountability Committee to discuss how engineering-led assessments can boost accountability, improve infrastructure performance, and build a more resilient Ghana. Dr. Asafo-Adjei, grateful for your time this afternoon. Why is the Ghanaian Infrastructure Report Card important at this time?
Yeah, let me use this opportunity to say good afternoon to viewers and also to thank you, Kenneth, for asking this important question, especially at this time of the season when we are experiencing the impact of climate change and infrastructure, resilient factors. What I will say is that before I want to answer this question, I want to just take us a brief to why this report card even started.
Okay.
Report card is just like we all know, when we all go to school, at the end of every term, after examination, we are given a report card.
Right.
And then this report card is a big opportunity for the student, for the teachers, and for the parent to assess or evaluate the performances of the student in all various subjects the child might have taken. It had a history that it came from United States of America, that in 1988, through the US Congress, they gave a chapter that they wanted an assessment of all the critical infrastructure in the United States. It was through Congress, and after 10 years, because they want to ensure that they depoliticize it, there's no political interference in the assessment, the American Institute of Civil Engineers took over, and then they become like a ritual that every 4 years they give the American people, the assessment of their infrastructure. And in 2002, United Kingdom also picked it up. And then the Canadian Institute of Civil Engineers also did it. In Africa here, we have South Africa, which has also done a similar report card. In 2016, the Ghana Institution of Engineering did the first one where they assessed critical infrastructure in Ghana. But that time, it was limited to 3 major infrastructure. That is, they were road and bridges, they look at the electric power, and they look at telecommunication. These were assessed, a lot of work were done, and it's important that as we go now, maybe that was done in 2016, almost about 10 years now. But this card that we are issuing, or the report, will be limited up to 2025. So it is important that we look at the history, and it's going to give us a very important or a critical view of the way our infrastructure has behaved, for the past 9 years. And based on that, the institution is going to launch this thing on Tuesday, 14 July. So that is the important. It's a way of having a very objective and critical assessment of major critical infrastructure in the country.
So why now? Why do we need it now at this time?
Yeah, it is important we do it now because looking at what is happening, I mean, the aging infrastructure that we have, I mean, every infrastructure has got a lifespan. Everything we see, when we build bridges, we know that maybe for the next 100 years, a major bridge or 50 years will has to stand, I mean, the test of time. And all this infrastructure that we build, be it road or be it electric power, they all have a lifespan, just like a human being.
Right.
And because they are deteriorating and they also need maintenance. Without maintenance, I mean, their lifespan will be over. And more so because of the climate change. I mean, you know, things have changed. You make certain assumptions to build an infrastructure. And now the whole world, we are undergoing major climate change. So Ghana Institute of Engineers has started this thing 10 years ago, and they want to bring this thing up so that all policymakers, all those who are making decisions will know the state of our infrastructure, just like the report card. If you know why the performance of your children or your child, and then you know that this is where you are from, this is where you are, and you can know where you are going. Because we expect a lot of population change. We know there's going to be increasing demand and pressure on our infrastructure. So this is very timely that we issue the report card for people to know where we are now.
Many will ask, what really is the report card going to assess, and how is the assessment going to be done?
Yeah, I think in January, I mean, I will just give, because I don't want to, everything is going to happen on Tuesday.
Right.
As you said, I mean, we look at, the other one look at road and bridges. So this one will definitely look at road and bridges. We also look at the power sector, energy. I mean, we look at transport sector, and then we'll look at health infrastructure. We look at educational infrastructure. It's important that the major 8 sectors that we have looked, and these 8 sectors were done. I mean, we came up with what we call the fact sheet. This fact sheet was sent to the ministries. It was sent to municipals, and then they did the validation. So it is something. Is better we ask everybody to come around, and so that you can really see the details of this important report, so that we can have a very objective assessment of the state of infrastructure in Ghana.
Interesting. And let's talk about the major infrastructure challenges in the country. What are they? Because many wonder how, if you compare our country to, let's say, a continent like Europe, they have older buildings, older infrastructure, but they are still in shape as we speak today. Why is that?
I think you've said it very well. I mean, if you look at the challenges that we have, I mean, to me, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. I mean, there's nothing like no plan. Everything that we have to do, the basic thing is the planning. And in planning, you need to look at the expected population growth. If it's road, we have the anticipated volume of traffic. I mean, the ASIL loads that we expect to come on the road. If it is power, we know that the population is going. We know this is an industrial zone. If it is internet or communication, all those things are major infrastructure. And the first thing is the planning. If we don't have adequate planning, and then we will not go anywhere. The other point I've seen, or it's all over, is that there's a lack of maintenance. And then the issue about maintenance, that it is only seen when it is not there. Most of this critical infrastructure, when they are performing very well, we don't even think about them. It's only when they fail, then we really realize that something major that our life depends has failed. So in January, we assume that everything is okay. There's no funding for planning. There is no, issue of little things. They say a stitch in time, save 9. We don't pay attention to little things. You see a road which is developing a very small crack, it expands to a pothole, it becomes a manhole, and then there is emergency. So in general, our attitude towards maintenance, we are quick to start a major rehabilitation. Let me give you an example. If you are a gentleman and then you don't maintain your shirts, you like buying new shirts, you like buying new dresses. I think what we are trying to say is that the new dresses that you are buying, you also not maintain them.
Yeah.
So if you cannot maintain, why do you buy a new one? I mean, we are a country of commissioning new projects, cutting salt, but our maintenance is not very adequate. So all these things expose the weakness. It's only we do a reactive. We react to issues. We don't do recurrent or we don't do a routine maintenance. We only react to issues. And most of these infrastructure, they have lifespan.
Yeah.
So when they are dead, it's difficult to revive them.
That's quite interesting. And how does infrastructure quality affect economic growth, investment, and the daily lives of Ghanaians?
I think we all are very, when there's shortage of water at home, you know how it affects you. If you have to go at distance, to go and fetch water, you know how it affects you. These days, we have all becoming internet dependent. When you don't have data, you can't go anywhere. When you wake up and then the road is blocked, it affects your daily life. So infrastructure is a measure of your GDP. And then the comfort or the level of accessibility that you accept infrastructure. You see that if you go to the hospital and then, they don't have the basic infrastructure to undertake basic medical care, it will affect your life.
Yeah.
Another way, the health of the population is related to the infrastructure. So without infrastructure, we will become very, very unproductive. We are not able to produce as a country. But it starts gradually. It's not something that comes at a go. Right. So at times we may not be able to evaluate and see how important they are. So we really have to ensure that for us to keep the society moving, the country moving, we don't have to underestimate the importance of infrastructure. It is related to the economic growth.
That's quite interesting. And let's look at the role that the report card plays in strengthening accountability and improving infrastructure governance. What role do you think it will play? Okay.
I think, as I said, I've been an engineer for over 34 years in the public life. So I've worked in Federal Roads Department, Ministry of Roads and Highways. I've worked with the ILO, the United Nations. I've worked with COCOBOT. And then I can tell you that when you are taking decision about infrastructure, there's something I call it invisible committee. Everybody is influenced by a stakeholder. It could be your father, it could be your in-laws, it could be some political figures, or it could even be, Kenneth, you, because you are my friend, you ask me to do something for you. It will influence me. So when we don't have a way of standardized assessment, we don't have a way of looking at appraisals, we don't have a way of, doing a scientific selection. And that is what the report card is trying to do. It's giving us a baseline. It's giving us opportunity to make scientific and objective analysis so that there is no emotional rhetorics. And it's trying to make sure there is no political motivation. I think if we look at the report card and then we look at it from objectively, I think it should be a major input in any manifestos or any critical decision that is going to affect the country. It's everything that we do, that is, be it infrastructure, be it a railway line, be it aviation, we should be able to look at where are we from and where are we going and where are we, so that your vision and your mission should be informed by assessment. And this is how almost all developed countries have done it. We need to benchmark our development. We need to see, okay, this is where we want to reach at this stage. But if it becomes a subjective, I say it is good, you say it's bad, it becomes like, under a tree argument. We need to have an objective, and this is what the Ghana Infrastructure Scorecard is going to do. One has been done, we will have opportunity to compare the previous one, and then I think the next 4 years or so, if the GIE is funded very well, and then almost at the interval of 3 to 4 years, there should be a new report card, and that can give a baseline of making informative and objective assessment of our critical infrastructure. We won't be reactive.
Yeah.
There won't be any knee-jerk reaction towards major failures, because we can then predict, we will then expect, and then we know that when this thing is happening because we fail to do A, B, or C.
I know that if we had planned our infrastructure very well, we wouldn't be witnessing all these flooding issues that we witness, right?
Yes, you are very right. And then, the Institution of Engineering has already given a report on that, so I won't like to, make it, a subject of this topic. But one thing it is that we are not harvesting the rain that comes on the ground. We have paved, there's not enough filtration. We don't have a retention area. We don't have a reserve area. All our drainage is full. In other countries, they have, all the water gets into the sea. There should be a barrier. In other countries, like if you go to, Denmark and Netherlands, they are even pumping water.
Yeah.
They are enhancing the outflow of the rivers such a way that there is no backflow. So all these things need to, take into board, and we need to be disciplined. That is it.
There's going to be a nationwide cleanup exercise tomorrow and then Saturday. I believe you've heard it.
Yes.
What's your thought on that?
Yes, I think it shouldn't be a one-day action. Normally, it's better we do things when out of the rainy season. The preparation, that's what we call the routine maintenance. The dredging and everything should have been done before, the actual day. We prepare, it's like football. You spend 1 week to prepare and then use only 90 minutes for the action.
And all that you'll be saying fits perfectly into this. We are being reactional.
Yeah, exactly. So our preparation should have been adequate.
Yeah.
Because we know that anytime there's May, June, July, it's a wet season. And I think I also agree, somehow with what our Excellency said, that we should think of relocation, or maybe we should find means that during the wet season, people who are in the flood-prone area should find a way to protect their. Even in America, it happens when the hurricanes are coming, they vacate the area because there is an early warning system.
Yeah,
things that can warn you that look, the floods are coming. Protect your system and vacate, because when you lose one life, it costs the nation a lot.
Dr. Charles Asafo-Adjei, thank you very much. He's a member of the Ghana Institution of Engineering's Public Account Committee. You're still watching the polls here on Joy News. Now, beyond the physical cleanup, the Seventh-day Adventist Church says sanitation is closely linked to healthy living and responsible citizenship. The church believes maintaining clean surroundings is a collective duty and part of promoting healthier communities. And I've been joined on Zoom by Pastor Colonel Retired Peter Nyako Diodo. He's the president of the Southeast Ghana Union Mission in Tema. Welcome to the program, sir, of the Seventh-day Adventist Church to discuss the church's participation in the National Sanitation Day exercise. I want to find out from you, what specific activities will the members of SDA undertake during the National Sanitation Day exercise?
Thank you so much. We are encouraging the church members to come out in their numbers. We have a lot of branches all over the country, and in my jurisdiction, I have 912 churches. And so we are asking all the churches that they should come out tomorrow and make sure that their surroundings are kept clean. They should dredge the gutters and make sure that everything is okay, because we cannot worship God, let me say, in a dirty environment. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Our God likes clean things. And so we should make sure that our environment is clean, our neighborhood is clean, and our country is clean. Basically, I've been told that tomorrow is for the security personnel, but since Saturday, we will go to church. Some of us who would have the time will do it tomorrow. And the rest on Sunday, those who couldn't do it tomorrow, will do it on Sunday, so that we also contribute our quota to the cleanness of our beloved country, Ghana.
That's very kind of the Church of SDA. You've already mentioned that you have over 900 members from your congregation who are going to participate, but across the country, in the regions where this is going to happen, how many people do you estimate to participate from your church?
Roughly, we'll be having about 450,000 members who would participate across the country. In Ghana, the church is, grouped into 4 regions. And so the regions, each region has a union. So we have 4 unions in Ghana, and then we have 4 union presidents. And so each union is going to mobilize the members and encourage them to come out and do the needful, because we are tired. Sometimes when the rainy season is just coming, we are afraid. We don't know what will happen, but we are praying that as we have begun, this shouldn't be a 9-day or 1-day wonder, 9 days wonder, but it should be consistent. We should be doing the cleanups every day and then, so that we get prepared. Should the rains come, we will not experience this flood again by the grace of God.
You've already told us that cleanliness, they say, is next to godliness. Beyond this exercise, what role do you believe churches, not only SDA, should play in promoting sanitation in the country?
We are obliged to go into NCA's own resources, and so we are very happy that we are here now with a way forward through the committee's work. Just to put on record that the DTT platform as we have it today is a monopoly, and by the requirements of the Electronic Communications Act, its tariffs have to be regulated. We are happy to have supported the committee's work with the modeling, financial modeling. We would be subjecting the eventual tariffs to regulatory approval as and when it comes up. Thank you very much, and this is a big step. 10 years late, but better late than never. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are honored to have the chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Information and Communications, Honorable Dr. Abednego Bandim, with us, and he will give us a few remarks.
Thank you, MC. Honorable Minister and Honorable Deputy Minister, may I observe the protocol already established and proceed. Everybody on the table is happy, and I'm also happy, because I'm happy that you're all happy. Because if you're not happy, I believe my doors would be knocked at to resolve some of the problems that will arise out of this. It is true that this has been a protracted issue on the heads of the ministry. And I'm serving my second term as an MP in opposition in the 8th Parliament. These issues came to us. And, the Honourable Minister today was my deputy ranking, and we had to deal with this. So I know all of you on the table. And for me, because I have worked with the National Communications Authority before, from the inception of the DTT project, I am fully abreast with the issues. So that makes me extremely happy that you are happy. Let me thank the minister also for this initiative. I knew that he was the best person to deal with this issue because he has been involved with it. And as a deputy ranking, he's abreast with all the issues, have a very fair idea of how to go about it. So I'm not surprised that a committee was put together to resolve this issue. For us, as Parliamentary Select Committee, we are independent. We will be observing you, we will be looking at you and watching how you all conduct yourselves. It's an agreement that you are going to be signing today, and we expect that you all follow through the agreement and resolve it to the successful end. Otherwise, when you start to, fight, as NMC said, that you have fought for a very long time, we will watch, but we will be looking at the public interest. And public interest, if we have to, in the end, recommend a legislation to resolve any problem, that is what we will do. So I hope that, since all of you are happy, we would resolve this amicably. GBC, they are also under the select committee, and they have come to complain to the committee about how they were left out in the agreement. I'm happy that the Director General spoke and said he's happy. So GBC, I hope that your interest is taken care of, and that we will not hear any other issues with DTT. On this note, I want to thank you, every one of you, for fully participating and having this report presented today. May God bless our homeland, Ghana. Amen.
Thank you very much, Honorable. The President of GIBA has requested that the Chairman of the GIBA Council of Elders also share a few remarks with us. So we invite Chief Crystal Jirako.
Honorable Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations, Honorable Deputy Minister, my dear brother, Honorable in charge of Parliamentary Select Committee of Parliament. They talk about the fight, and you were in the center of this fight when we visited Parliament many years ago. All protocols observed. I'm happy that my president decided that I should speak all the things that he wasn't going to say. We have come a long way to reach where we are today. And I'm personally inspired that leadership, and I'm talking of the Honorable Minister, has embraced dialogue, inclusiveness, and collaboration with stakeholders as the surest path towards securing a sustainable future for Ghana's national digital terrestrial television platform. This demonstrates that during national solutions, I take that again, this demonstrates that enduring national solutions are best achieved through consultation, consensus, and shared commitment to the public interest. And I'd like to congratulate the Honorable Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations on his exemplary, visionary, and statesman-like leadership. Your decision to convene a broad-based stakeholder committee and allow its members to deliberate independently, openly, and without ministerial interference demonstrate uncommon confidence in due process, accountability, participatory governance. And we are so glad about that. You encourage members to place patriotism, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to the national interest above institutional interest, and work collectively towards a sustainable future for Ghana's digital television platform, with the scope and terms of reference given to the committee to guide its work. You have reaffirmed that enduring national solutions which could be built through dialogue, integrity, and mutual respect. Our journey to this point has not been an easy one. Following Ghana's signing of the Geneva Agreement in 2006, the nation faced a defining choice, whether to depend primarily on internet-based or satellite broadcasting services platforms, which are largely beyond our sovereign control, or to invest in a national terrestrial television platform that we could own, manage, and rely upon by ourselves. History has shown that Ghana made the right decision. At a time when misinformation, disinformation, geographical influence, and external commercial interests increasingly shape the global information space, our national DTT platform stands a strategic national asset, enabling the state and broadcasters to communicate authentic, reliable, and universally accessible information through infrastructure owned by the Ghanaian people, the DTT platform. There was a time when many Ghanaians depended on foreign broadcasters such as BBC, etc., for breaking news in the 50s, the 60s, and in the 70s. Fortunately, we have trusted national institutions such as the GBC, the DG is here, and the Daily Graphic. And today, Ghana possesses its own national digital broadcasting infrastructure, strengthening our information sovereignty and reinforcing public confidence in credible journalism. I can comfortably say we took the right decision at the capacity building workshop organized on the 29th and 30th of June 2010 at the Ghana Indian Kofi Annan Center for Excellence in ICT, Accra, to build for ourselves this national DTT platform that the nation can communicate with her people with the flow of reliable information. Honorable Minister, this national asset deserves our collective protection. I therefore encourage all broadcasters and media practitioners to continue exercising their constitutional watchdog role and professionalism, responsibility, and integrity, ensuring that trusted journalism remains the benchmark amid the growing tide of misinformation on digital and social media platforms. Broadcasting performs an essential public interest function, and the committee adopted a public interest subsidized pricing model, appropriately recognizing that reality while supporting the long-term sustainability of Ghana's DTT infrastructure. As we move forward, it is our hope that the government and industry will continue working together to develop transparent, fair, and affordable DTT pricing policies that promote media plurality, universal access, and the continued growth of Ghana's broadcasting ecosystem. Once again, congratulations to you, Honorable Sam George. May your example continue to inspire excellence in public service and nation building. And I end with the lyrics of the great patriotic song composed by the legendary composer, Dr. Ephraim Koku Amu, from Peki in the Volta region. Yes, from Peki in the Volta region. Let's remind ourselves every day of our crucial roles as responsible media watchdogs and trust ourselves to be called as one in our service to our motherland. You know that song? You don't know the song? Every day you should meditate on that song. Won't sing all. Everybody knows it in their various language. Long live responsible media in Ghana. Long live the Ghana DTT infrastructure platform. Long live Giba. And may God bless Ghana, our homeland. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. We've heard reflections from the key institutions represented in this all-important national exercise. We now go to the policy perspective. It's my honor to invite the Honorable Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations, Honorable Samuel Nate George, to give us his remarks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The Honorable Deputy Minister, the Chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Information and Communications, the Chief Director of the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, directors of the ministry, heads of agencies present here, the Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, the Director General of the NCA, Executive Secretary of the NMC, represented by Mr. Cecil Sunkwa Mills, the President of GIBA, the President of the Ghana Journalists Association, President of the New Media Association. Sounds like a UN meeting, so many presidents. Representatives of KNET, representatives of all broadcasters, members of the DTT committee, our friends in the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. Let me take this opportunity first and foremost to thank you for accepting our invitation to this afternoon's event. Today's ceremony marks an important milestone in our collective efforts to ensure the long-term sustainability, efficiency, and effective governance of Ghana's digital terrestrial television platform. It also demonstrates what can be achieved when government and industry stakeholders engage in open, transparent dialogue with a mutual respect and a shared commitment to finding practical solutions to our national challenges. We have come a very long way. This clearly demonstrates the reset agenda of His Excellency President Mahama's commitment to resolving major challenges within the communication sector. This is a real use case worth emulating. The successful migration from analog to digital television broadcasting represented a significant achievement in Ghana's digital transformation journey. Beyond fulfilling an international obligation, it laid the foundation for more efficient spectrum utilization, expanded access to quality broadcasting services, and enhanced opportunities for innovation within the broadcasting sector. However, the long-term success of any national digital infrastructure depends on its establishment and on the effectiveness of the systems put in place to sustain, govern, and continuously improve it. Over the years, concerns have emerged regarding the operational sustainability of the DTT platform. Issues relating to operational financing, infrastructure management, governance arrangement, institutional responsibilities, and the platform's long-term viability were raised by key stakeholders in the broadcasting industry. It became increasingly evident that these matters required candid and careful attention if the platform was to continue serving broadcasters and the Ghanaian public effectively. Recognizing the strategic importance of the DTT platform as a critical national digital infrastructure, the ministry initiated a series of engagements with stakeholders to better understand the challenges confronting the platform and to identify practical pathways towards sustainable solutions. And as has been heard around this table already, we've gone full circle, from complaints to the Parliamentary Select Committee, to courts, to meetings where we were walked out of. I mean, the whole spectrum of emotions have been felt, to optimism and to where we are today. I called the first broadcaster stakeholder meeting on 24th February 2026, barely 5 months ago, to provide an opportunity for broadcasters and other stakeholders to openly discuss the operational and financial challenges that affect the platform and to reaffirm their collective commitments to preserving this important national asset. Building on those discussions, it became evidently clear that the matters under consideration extended well beyond just determining the channel fees. They involved broader questions regarding the ownership of the infrastructure, the governance arrangements around the infrastructure, institutional responsibilities, what was the quality of the service of the broadcast itself, and the development of a sustainable financing framework for the platform. It was against this backdrop that the ministry established the Digital Terrestrial Television Committee to undertake a comprehensive review of all of these matters and provide the government with an objective, practical, and evidence-based recommendation to guide future policy decisions. The committee members were carefully selected to ensure ownership and one voice built on a consensus for effective implementation. I want to believe that with the submission of this report today, the court case, Egbele, court case, Yamutu. It is against this backdrop that the committee subsequently held several meetings to deliberate and deliver on the mandate as spelled out in the terms of reference. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from the outset, when I informed His Excellency that we were setting up this committee, he defined it for me and said that this will not be a routine assignment. The committee was therefore tasked with examining complex technical, financial, operational, and institutional issues that required careful analysis and extensive stakeholder engagements. Let me be quick to say that I've enjoyed all the funds that have been given, but the funds are really not mine. They belong to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who has sat in this chair and has guided my hand along this path with every single minute detail of how this should be executed. And so to His Excellency, we say thank you. As the committee progressed with its work, it became necessary to review detailed technical and financial submissions, validate information received from stakeholders, and accommodate further consultation to ensure that different perspectives were adequately considered. Consequently, an emergency meeting was held on Thursday, 14th March 2026 to assess the progress and determine the way forward. In recognition of this assignment, the ministry approved an extension of the committee's timelines, which were supposed to be end of June, to ensure that the committee was afforded sufficient time to complete a thorough and credible piece of work capable of supporting informed decision-making. One of the most encouraging outcomes of this process has been the spirit of collaboration demonstrated by all stakeholders, and I think you all deserve a round of applause. Staff from the ministry, regulators, public broadcasters, private broadcasters, and technical partners have each brought unique perspectives to the table. I've gotten complaints from every single one of them along the line. Everybody had a problem with the process, but we trusted the process, and here we are today. Ebenezer, thus far, the Lord has brought us. This collaborative approach reflects the maturity of our broadcasting sector and demonstrates that lasting solutions are best achieved through partnership, transparency, and mutual respect. Allow me, therefore, to express the ministry's sincere appreciation to the chairperson of the committee and every member of the committee for the dedication, professionalism, and diligence demonstrated throughout this assignment. Let me pause to say that wherever our departed sister, Gloria, is, her heart will be gladdened by this achievement. The ministry also extends its gratitude to the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, KNET Limited, the National Communications Authority, the National Media Commission, the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, and all stakeholder institutions whose active participation and technical contributions have enriched the committee's work. The report being presented today represents an important milestone. It marks the beginning of the next phase of the government's efforts to strengthen the governance and sustainability of our DTT platform. The ministry will carefully study the committee's findings and recommendations and engage the relevant stakeholders as appropriate before taking decisions on the implementation of the proposed measures. You can be rest assured, even before the ministry takes concrete policy decision, I'll issue a white paper that will be shared with all members of the DTT committee for us to have consensus going forward. The objective will be to establish a governance and operational framework that will be transparent, equitable, financially sustainable, and capable of supporting continued investment and innovation within Ghana's broadcasting sector. Ultimately, the success of the DTT platform must be measured by its technical performance and its ability to provide reliable broadcasting services, to promote our media pluralism, and to support local content development. Support local content development, and ensure that all Ghanaians continue to benefit from accessible, high-quality, free-to-air television services. Once again, my thanks goes to the Director General of the GBC. Prof, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And this one is not a political pipeline. Political pipeline, you never see the end of it. This one, there's light. You see the light. To KNET, our technical partners, and to Giba for all your support and for the live telecast of this as a sign of your goodwill and support for the intent to develop the cost-sharing model that we have built for the DTT platform. Your dedication, expertise, and collaborative spirit demonstrated throughout this process have provided the government with a strong foundation on which to make informed policy decisions. It is therefore my honor, on behalf of the government of Ghana, to formally receive the final report of the DTT committee. The government looks forward to working with all the stakeholders to advance the next phase of this important national endeavor. Now, I can go back and report to my boss and say, boss, yet another one achieved. Promise made, promise kept. To all our stakeholders, be rest assured, we will continue to fix all the challenges that we inherited in this sector